Hello, welcome to Top Net Education, where you get a chapter summary of a classic novel in less time than it takes you to walk to class. Today we'll be talking about Catcher in the Rye, Chapter 13. After the lavender room, Holden walks the 41 blocks back to the hotel. He doesn't want to take another taxi cab ride because he, quote, doesn't feel like it. He has a strange fantasy of losing his gloves at Pincy, and how he would confront the thief but not actually be directly confrontational, and certainly not fight. It's another sign of Holden's gentle character. He doesn't mind getting hit, but explains, quote, "What scares me most in a fistfight is the other guy's face. I can't stand looking at the other guy's face is my trouble," end quote. It's unclear why the guy's face bothers him. Best guess is that it's because of his depression, grief over Allie, and loneliness. Holden is much more scared of emotional violence than physical violence. For Holden, seeing the other guy's angry expression is more violent than actually getting hit. Holden gets back to the hotel and then warns the reader about what is coming next. He explains he was, quote, depressed and all. I almost wished I was dead. And then, all of a sudden, I got in this big mess, end quote. The mess begins with the elevator operator, whose name is Maurice. Maurice offers to set Holden up with a prostitute for $5. Holden agrees unexpectedly, giving Maurice his hotel room number. Holden explains that he has principles, but he was so depressed he just agreed without thinking. Holden goes up to the room and he combs his hair and checks his breath. He's nervous. He tries to explain further why he hired the prostitute. He's a virgin, which he thinks is a problem. Everybody's a virgin at 16, but nobody knows that. Holden thinks the problem is because he's too respectful. He tells the reader about kissing girls, and when things start to heat up, the girl usually asks him to stop. And unlike Stradlater, he actually does stop. This is, of course, the right thing to do, but again, Holden sees Stradlater's success in a corrupt system and his own quote-unquote failure, and he misunderstands that what he's doing is actually the best thing. Complicating Matters is a book he read at a previous school. It was about a great lover named Monsieur Blanchard. Blanchard had said that a woman's body is like a violin and you have to know how to play it. Holden, in his inexperience, is worried he doesn't know how to play a woman's body, and maybe the prostitute can help him, quote, get in some practice in case he ever gets married. Once again, we see that his motivations are sweet, even a little naive. He's depressed and he feels like dying, but he remains selfless and giving, even as he does something as crude as hiring a prostitute. The prostitute arrives. Her name is Sunny, and she just makes Holden even more depressed. She takes off her dress quickly and asks him what time it is. It's the opposite of sexy. What makes things worse is she's very young, likely around Holden's age. Holden keeps his distance, asking, "Don't you feel like talking for a while?" They try to talk, but Sunny isn't interested in much of anything. She tries again to initiate sex. She just wants to get it over with, and again Holden balks, falling back on an old favorite, which is lying about his health. He tells her he's recovering from an operation on his clavichord. A clavichord is actually a string instrument from the Middle Ages. Holden's lies would be better if he had paid a little attention in school. He tells Sunny he's no longer interested because he doesn't feel good. He tries to pay her the $5, but she insists the cost is $10. She leaves, but he doesn't give her the money, and she's angry about it. She keeps demanding the extra $5. Once again, Holden has been confronted with the possibility of sex, and once again he balks. This time, we, the reader, are very glad. Calling up Faith Cavendish was not a great strategy for Holden to lose his virginity, but Sunny is even worse. Holden is so sad and lonely that he has a strong need for someone to care about, and neither Sunny or Faith are going to be that person for more than a few minutes. He's channeling his need for love through a quest for sex, partially because he keeps confusing physical and emotional intimacy. Furthermore, if he's going to use sex as a catalyst to leave childhood and become an adult, the experience should be positive, preferably with someone he loves like Jane. Sleeping with a young prostitute in a seedy motel is likely the worst possible entrance to adulthood, and would put Holden on a path toward becoming a worse version of himself, such as some of the less ideal adults that we've already met, like Stradlater, Maurice, the bellboy, and the cab driver, Old Horowitz. Or, worse case, as emotionally fragile as Holden is, it could drive him towards suicide. On that happy note, Chapter 13 ends. It gets better soon. Get to class.